beautiful trucks, but we are ready to race, and it doesn't matter how good you look now. It's how much power and how good a driver you are. As Bigfoot and Andy Brass comes out to take on Dave Wysork at Nightlife. And remember, Army, I told you, Dave Wysork said the highlight of his career thus far was the time he beat Bigfoot 3 races in a row. That was in August of 1988.
Richard, August 1988 is a long way in time and distance from here where that event took place. Tonight is all that counts. Side by side. The past doesn't mean anything. Wysork going against the Bigfoot truck would love to put a win under his belt, but he's got to earn it. Believe me, Brass will not give it to him. He wants the Ford back in the winner's circle. Chevrolet on the right lane, Ford in the left lane. Richard, it looks like it's going to be a good one.
And by all rights, Andy Brass ought to have the advantage. He was the top qualifier, has lane choice, and we know there is a good and a bad lane on this track.
Well, we know that, but the right lane is working awfully good for Awesome Kong. Remember that. Nobody else wants the right lane. Everybody wants the left lane. Awesome Kong may sneak into this thing through that right lane. Let's see what's going to happen. The race at hand. Bigfoot, left lane works to perfection. He's going to advance once again, Rick.
No problem at all for Andy Brass, the winner, and Bigfoot takes the Ford into the finals. That is George Smith, the crew chief of the Bigfoot racing operation. He is happy. He's in communication with the driver, Andy Brass, right now, as there's a little bit of fire underneath there, Army.
Richard, a lot of times these engines will puke out a little bit of oil that runs down on the exhaust header, gives a little bit of a flash fire. No problem, really. The safety crew is there.
All right, doesn't look like a major problem as it flares up one more time. Army, he's making his way over to Andy right now.
Now George Smith comes over. They're going to the final for the second time in a row. We've had 2 events this year. Andy, the new driver, he put this truck in the final the second time. They're having a little bit of a fire problem, but you don't seem to be worried about the fire at all. You're kind of sitting up in there relaxing, letting George do the work.
Yeah, it's really not a whole lot to be worried about. It's just our oil overflow has been dropping, dripping oil down on the header, and it's just flaring up on us. It's been something that's been going, we've been having almost all day today.
You won the first one of the year, Andy. Can you make it 2 in a row?
I'm hoping so.
What lane are we going to come out of?
We're going to stay right where we're at.
And who's he going to face in the finals? Will it be Steve Dane and Awesome Kong out of Texas, or look who he is facing again, Army. Master of disaster, Doug Spanier, comes back because he was the fastest loser in previous rounds. Here we go again, Chevrolet.
I'm looking for a war. No love lost here. Texas working a right lane. Let's see if he can hold off. If he's going to do it, he's going to do it right at the end. Richard, he does. Whoa, what a run by the Texans.
Probably our best race of the night, but Steve Dane holds off Doug Spanier, and Awesome Kong takes on Bigfoot in the finals. You can see on the replay what a tight one this was.
Richard, he's right back to where he was earlier. He's actually flying over the cars. The crush cars don't bother him because he flies over them.
And he is a happy son of a gun. Steve Dane jumping off Kong saying, I'm going to get Bigfoot. Willie, we'll find out the championship up next on Powertrax. Paul, we are about to name the king of crunch car racing, Army. It's either going to be Awesome Kong and Steve Dane, the Chevrolet from Texas, or Andy Brass and Bigfoot, the Ford out of St. Louis. We're in the finals.
Brass is in the lane he wants to be in. Steve Dane, I believe, is too. When he went to the starting line, he was pumped up. You could see him working the crowd. Now, Dane has been saying all evening long he's having trouble on the starting line. If he's going to take a win, Richard, he's going to have to catch him at the finish line. He will not be able to leave with the Ford. He's going to give the start of the race to the Ford, but like we've been talking all night long, that Texas Air Force is going to be coming after you right at the finish line.
And don't forget, Steve Dane has a habit of letting other drivers think he's having problems when he's not having any problem at all. He uses psychology in this Ford, Army.
The transmission does seem to be going away a little bit. We'll be able to tell. I got a feeling this is a Texas-style shootout. They're going to lay all cards on the table. Ford's out. Now, Dane's got to come out. Look at that.
What a race! Steve Dane and Awesome Kong way behind at the beginning of the race. He came on strong at the end. It looked like a dead heat to me at the finish line. TNT official is checking the replay now. We just get word it is Steve Dane. Awesome Kong has knocked off Bigfoot here in St. Paul. Steve, the winner in Kong.
The crowd just received words of the win, but is lane choice that important in this sport as it is in any other form of motorsports? First you, Andy.
Yeah, I think lane choice is. On a course like we're running here, the straight courses, I'm not real sure that lane choice is a big advantage, but in our turning courses and everything, it does make a big advantage. Now, Steve's running a truck where he sits mid-seat in it where he can see out of both sides pretty easy. And I don't think it's as critical for him as it is some of the other drivers.
How do you feel about lane choice?
He's exactly right. He's a little sharper than I thought he was. They're sitting in the middle here. I don't have a lane choice per se as to where I can see because I have really good visible. I can see everything that's going on. But it ended up being that left lane happened to be, I think the incline on the ramps weren't quite as bad or something where I was getting shot around. And my transmission, I'm sure I burned one up because I wasn't getting nothing out of the hole at last pass. And this last one, I didn't have nothing. And I decided to let her smoke. And I put it in the meadow and it came alive. But I'm sure I got a smoke tranny I got to change.
Well, I want to congratulate both you young men. We'll be looking forward to following you on the Renegade Tour. Best of luck to both of you.
Thanks, Arm.
All right, thanks, Army. So a couple of major stories in St. Paul, Minnesota. Number one, the hometown boy and defending national champion Rod Litzow in USA 1. He is yet to win a race since capturing the national championship back in October of last year. But maybe more importantly is Steve Dane and Awesome Kong. He has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that he is for real. For Army Armstrong, I'm Richard Leake. We'll catch you again on the tracks across America.
Join us next time for Powertrax, the most powerful sport on earth. Brought to you by TNT Motorsports, the nation's leader in pulling and monster truck racing.
In points, Carolina.